10-year note Treasury yields moved lower today, getting below 410 for the first time since February 8th and culminating in a move that started back on February 23rd. Since that day, 10-year note yields are down 24 basis points. Now, early this morning, we got the ADP data, which showed 140,000 new jobs. Likewise, we saw a slight decrease in the JOLTS number, the jobs opening number. And then came Mr. Powell, who gave his day one of his semi-annual testimony to Congress. He spoke in front of the House Financial Committee. He talked about basically some of the things he had mentioned last month when he talked about no need to rush to cut rates. They want to see inflation move down. Ultimately, he echoed those comments, but he also did talk about the need to not have to wait for inflation to get all the way down to 2% before they start cutting, and did reiterate that rate cuts were coming at some point later this year. Ultimately, 10-year note yields were down today about 4 basis points, closing at 410. Now, what does this mean for volatility? Well, check out that CVOL index over at cmegroup.com. You will notice the volatility declined with yields today as we got through day one of the Fed chairman's testimony. Historically, we see volatility moving with yields. So as yields rise, we see volatility moving higher and vice versa. Well, today we saw just that. Yields were down and volatility was down. Lastly, let's talk about what we have tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday, which means we got our in-the-moment look at the job market via the claims number. We also get an ECB meeting, which doesn't directly affect us, but ultimately the markets will be waiting to see what they'll be doing across the pond as opposed to their rate changes, and they're looking to cut rates sometime in the middle of this year, similar to what our Fed is doing. Then we'll get day two of the Fed chair's testimony. He'll have the same written testimony he used today, but will be a different Q&A as he'll be speaking in front of the Senate. So taking a look at where yields have gone to where they are, we've seen a big shift lower since February 23rd down to 410 today, ahead of tomorrow's claims and Mr. Powell's day two of his semi-annual testimony.